Okay, welcome you guys. So first, if I could have you guys introduce yourself, your hometown / ski area, and what it means for you to race in the U.S. tomorrow. We'll start with Bridger here on the end.
I'm Bridger Gile. I'm from Aspen, Colorado, not too far from here, and it's pretty awesome to be racing in the U.S. snow that I grew up on, and I think it's much different than the European snow, so it should be really fun to ski in the U.S.
I'm Kyle Negomir. I'm from down in Littleton, Colorado, but I grew up skiing at Team Summit right here in Copper, and I think to be able to come home and have a World Cup on the track that I was bombing down Super B with my friends as a little kid, pretending we're in a World Cup is super unique and something not many people get the chance to do. So I'm super excited, and hopefully we can put on a show for you guys.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm Ryan Cochran-Siegle. I'm from Starksboro, Vermont. Grew up skiing at Cochran Ski area, a little bit smaller than these mountains out here. But whenever we're racing in front of the U.S., or in the U.S., it's fun getting to compete in front of all the U.S. fans. I think trying to inspire the next generation for, pursuing this type of level of skiing and, having fun with it. The slope looks awesome. Course workers did an amazing job, so we're just excited to start racing.
I'm Radamus. I'm from Vail, Colorado originally. I started dreaming of becoming a World Cup ski racer when I was watching Birds of Prey World Cup come to town. So coming back here and, trying to put on a show for the next generation is always really special.
Hey guys, Jared Goldberg here from Salt Lake City, Utah. And it's really cool to be here racing. We've been coming here since a few of us have been training on this hill since they cut the trees down and cut the hill in. And so it's just been an awesome progression. We've, just been training really hard on this hill for a long time and had a zillion runs down it. And it's just going to be cool to be able to race on it. So we've even raced a bunch of NORAMs and stuff on here. So we just feel, I feel like I'm sort of at home when I'm here. And it's always super rare and fun to be able to drive my own truck to a race. So, yeah.
How's it going? Bryce Bennett here. I'm from Palisades, Tahoe, out in California. You better know where that is. I think having a race in the U.S. is always special, especially for us, because we're at a lot of away games throughout the season. So to have some home games is pretty special, and we always love the opportunity. So I'm fired up.
Great, thanks guys. So I'm going to start with you, Bryce, actually. It's been a long off season, and the race is finally tomorrow. So can you kind of speak to how the camps have gone this summer, where the team's at right now, and how you're feeling going into tomorrow?
Yeah, I can speak for the speed team specifically. We had a 3-week camp in Ushuaia, a 3-week camp in Chile, and another 2 weeks in Europe, and then we've been here on the Copperopolis fighting it out in GS on Cop-Op. We had another coaching change. We brought John O'McBride from Aspen back on board, and we kind of have a good crew rolling. I think as a team, we fought it out a few times here and there throughout the prep season, but I think that was necessary for some team building and get everyone tugging on the same rope and going in the same direction. So, yeah, I'm super fired up, and it seems like, it would be unfortunate if I was sitting here saying that our entire team was sucking at skiing, but it seems like everyone's skiing pretty well, but we'll find out tomorrow.
Kyle, I'll go to you next. Super G is definitely one of the disciplines I think you feel probably most confident right now. So how are you feeling going into tomorrow, and how is it being at Copper? I know that you particularly love Copper a lot, so can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think of it, a lot of it's like Jared was saying, we've had U.S. Nationals races here, we've had NORAMs here, we've trained here every November for the last God knows how many years. So it's super special, and I think being able to kind of make that jump to having a World Cup here at a place that we're all so comfortable, I think any of us could tell you, every roll on that hill with our eyes closed. And so that's super special, and to get to do it at a place where it almost feels like another training day I think is really unique. I mean, it's cool just driving in here and seeing, a World Cup finish arena at Copper, at a place that, felt like home, and you could never really imagine this sort of spectacle being at. I think it's going to be super special. So we're excited.
Great. River, going to you next. As a Colorado native, I know racing at home means a lot to you, just inspiring the next generation of skiers. And how would you like to perform tomorrow, and what do you hope the next generation of skiers takes away from having a World Cup here in Copper?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, when I was a kid, we'd get let out of school to go to Birds of Prey, and I'd just chase around Ted and Bodie and Darren and all those guys, try to get their autographs all day. And that was my first exposure to the possibility that what I loved to do as a kid could be, whatever my concept of a job was at that point. It was the first time that ski racing became really real for me. It sort of set me along this path. And so I think I and the rest of the U.S. team guys take special pride in trying to represent ourselves well, but also represent our team and our sport well when we come back and race in the U.S. I think it's important to grow the fan base of our sport, and obviously trying to inspire the next generation. Because we were all kids just dreaming once and didn't think that we could get here. So we know that there's plenty of kids out there that'll be filling those shoes for us out in the crowd tomorrow, and we'll try to do our best to give them something to cheer for and something to chase after.
Great. Bridger, you are not racing Super G, but you are racing GS, and you already raced in Solden a few weeks ago. So how is it getting that first race out of the way, and are you excited for being back in front of the home crowd, and how's the GS team really feeling in general right now?
Yeah, we had our first race at the end of October, and it's October's pretty early. It feels like it's still warm out. You're coming down from the hill in shorts and a t-shirt. So it feels pretty weird to have a race at that time. You don't feel super prepared. So it was kind of nice to get that race, finish it, get through it. And now you kind of have those nerves, a little more settled down, and you know what to expect from a race day. So then to be able to come to the U.S., to Copper, where we've trained, a million times over the past 8 years, 10 years, it just feels super comfortable, like these guys were saying. I was thinking it's weird that the race is coming up in a couple days, because it feels like just another training camp in November. But it's been awesome to be able to prepare here again and just get back to a normal routine. And then on the GS side, we have a good team. There's 5 of us that are, we have River leading us, and then there's 4 of us that are trying to catch him, and I think we have a really strong group, and we've been skiing really well leading up to this point. Solden was definitely tough for us, but I think on the home hill, on the home snow, there'll definitely be more to cheer about.
Jared, last season you had your podium in Gardena, second place in the Super G, off the win by just 1/100th of a second. How have you brought that momentum into this season, and how are you feeling going into tomorrow on this hill?
Yeah, so that was really a sweet day, and definitely attribute some of that to being able to train on this hill and the amount of gliding and the practice that we got on carrying speed and terrain work and whatnot. But yeah, I think last year had some ups and some pretty, devastating races. But I think it was a good step for me mentally to just see where I can be, and I'm definitely my mentality changed after that a little bit, where I was trying to find a 100th and not seconds anymore or tenths. So yeah, I'm still I'm trying to bring that mentality this year and just go for it hard every race.
Ryan, our 2022 silver medalist from the Super G and at the Olympics. We got to talk about it. The Super G tomorrow. How are you feeling going into this hill? And how has your skiing changed from 2022 to today?
I think going into tomorrow, we're all pretty excited to race. I think it's hard to have expectations just knowing, this hill, just the top section's also unique and new. So the only time we've gone to ski it was a few days ago. But I think we have good access and kind of understand the hill enough to go out there and create a good game plan, commit to that. As far as, how I would say my skiing has evolved from 2022 to now, I think I feel in a way I've kind of transitioned a little more into the downhill discipline. Super G seems I can have days that I'm competitive, days where I'm a little bit off the mark. I feel like a little bit more inconsistent. Right now I feel like I'm making good movements with my skiing and have confidence, have the right focus in order to know how to perform. But at the same time, you also don't know what's going to happen on race day. So you kind of just have to go out there, focus on what you can do, and then, just have fun with it too.
Awesome. Well, I'd love to open up to the media here if there's any questions in the audience. Let's go to our club kids. I'm sure you guys all have some questions prepared, hopefully. So would anyone like to start? Okay, can you say your name and your question?
My name is Bryce, and my question is, what does skiing mean to you and why?
Let's get a few of you.
I find myself very lucky because I think that I've been able to turn my greatest passion into my job. When I was a kid, both my parents were ski coaches, and they allowed me to get on snow, but they never really pushed me. They just sort of let me go out and ski as much as I wanted to. And that was like the couple hours a day, couple hours a week that I just felt completely free. I could explore the world on my own terms, and I think that now as a professional ski racer, I have the brief opportunity to pursue being the best in the world at something, and that's something that drives me, wakes me up every morning to try to optimize everything I do to better my craft and better myself. Once I retire from ski racing, it's much harder to find those opportunities to really pursue true excellence at something, and so it's something that I really cherish right now.
I'll chime in. Skiing to me is the most fun thing you can do outside, honestly. Doesn't really feel like a job when it becomes your job, and it's a family, and it's crazy being family with people like all over the world. When you do this sport a long time, you work with a lot of different people closely, and also you get to know a lot of people because you have hundreds of people with a revolving door, and it's just really cool to know people in every city in the world that you could call and go hang out with for the rest of your life. And also just being on the hill here has just been cool to see people that, used to be with our group or whatever. And I'm like, how do I even know this guy? But I know this guy really well. It's crazy. And it's just fun to kind of just have that social part of it too. So, I don't know. There's a lot of different reasons, but those are obviously a couple of reasons that we like.
I want to follow up a little bit, Bryce, on what you said about Jono coming back, because I know you and Jared worked with him. I'm not sure if River has, but what's different this time, and did Jono put you through the tough dry land at his house this year?
Jono came, after finals, we found out that our old coach was departing our team, and we had another asset, Florian. He's now with the Norwegian women, and we really wanted him, but he's got a family, so our entire team kind of fell apart there right after Sun Valley. And then I was calling Jono all the time, and then it ended up, he was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do it. And I was like, what? No, what? You a week ago, you're like, no chance. And he seems, from all the conversations we've had, he's committed to the team and to the speed team for a while now, which is nice. And I've been through a lot of coaching staff changes throughout my career. We all have. And I think there's no perfect coach. There's coaches that excel at certain aspects of the profession, whether that's organization or technical coaching on the hill. And what Jono's real strength is just leadership, and it's kind of quiet leadership. You don't really realize it, but he lets you take control of your career, and I really do appreciate that, and I think a lot of us on this team appreciate it. There are some aspects that are loose, but it makes it fun. And Andy also brings a super fun attitude towards our team, and I think that's important for us as Americans, especially on the road. It's always nice when you finish a race and your coach is at the hotel with you and he didn't just hop in his Audi and fly back to his, or just rip back to his house. So it's kind of like we're more of a strong American team over in Europe, and I appreciate that.
I want to just add to that too, is it's really cool to have an American coach again. He cares about American ski racing. He cares about the guys coming up behind us, and we didn't have that so much before. So I think that's going to be huge for the future of our team.
Hi guys, Lauren with NBC over here in the back. I got a couple questions. I'll start with Bryce. You're a new dad. So can you talk to me about being a new dad? How are you sleeping? How's the baby?
I sleep great. My wife, on the other hand, does not sleep so great. No, I mean, yeah, that was an aspect of itself last year, being on the road and your wife's pregnant. That made it difficult, and now that little baby Kate has arrived to the world and I'm on the road, it makes it even tougher. When I'm out doing my job, it's okay. The days off are super difficult now. You're just, like, especially when you're sitting in the rain in Austria and there's nothing to do. All you can think about is your family and your wife taking on pretty much a single mother role. But it's been super fun. I'm loving having a little girl. I'm sure there's a lot of parents out there that you get it. I didn't get it before, but now I get it. It's not easy, but yeah. And I think it also provides a little bit of a motivation for me and a direction, like more of a powerful purpose to be in the start gate. So I'm excited to embrace that, and yeah, I'm praying my wife can hold in there for another year or two.
Awesome, thanks for that. My next question's for Jared. We talked a lot last year. You were going through some eye therapy, so I was wondering if you had any updates. Are you still seeing a doctor out in Colorado? How are your eyes doing? Low light's still difficult for you?
Yeah, I've always had some trouble with really flat light, but yeah, I ended up doing some eye therapy last summer after I just from concussions over my career, and a big one a couple years ago, and something that really helped was I actually went to a vestibular balance clinic and did some rehab this summer, and it was really cool actually just to learn about all that, and I think it was something I probably already needed. I maybe benefited from anyway if I didn't need it at the time, but that actually really helped me a lot, so things are getting better and better.
Awesome. Last one for me, guys, I promise. Everybody on the team, I'd love to hear your expectations heading into an Olympic year. You've skied Bormio before. I know it'll be different because it's February, not December, but just thoughts heading into the Olympics. How you guys feeling? Your expectations, goals, familiarity with the course?
I think they want to hear everyone. You start and then we'll just pass.
Yeah, Olympic year, so that's definitely on my mind. But honestly, for me, it's more, just trying to get good results in World Cups. And then hopefully if I get those good results, those top 15s, top 10s, then, hopefully there's a chance to make the team, or to make the Olympic team. But for me, the focus is the World Cups. And, if that goes well, then, yeah, hopefully there's a good chance at the Olympics.
I think as an American, skiing's sort of an every 4 years sport, right? And so I think for a lot of kids that, especially if you didn't grow up down in a ski town, the Olympics is sort of the biggest spectacle of the sport. That is the pinnacle of it for a lot of people. And I think especially as Americans, that gives us an extra sort of pressure, but also an extra motivation going into this year. And I think especially as far as Bormio goes, a lot of us are really excited to do it. It seems like talking to these other guys that in the past, Olympic tracks, especially for downhill, have been sort of made for TV and a little bit different, not what we usually see. And so to have Bormio, which we've all skied and put ourselves against and know is one of the toughest tracks in the world, I think is really cool to be able to sort of show that level of skiing on the biggest stage in the world.
We are all very excited of it being an Olympic year. I think it always presents a huge opportunity. Obviously, we're all vying for Olympic spots. Each one of us has to earn it, so we're definitely working really hard for that right now, knowing that, you have to go out there days tomorrow and perform. So all of that being said, I think also just looking at it as our team, we're a strong group of individuals, especially on the men's side. I think we still have a lot to prove in terms of competing against the best in the world. It seems like the Swiss, especially right now, are a very strong team, and we're definitely going to have to go out there. Perform every single day, work hard every single day, and I think all these guys have been putting in so much work in order to give themselves the opportunity, as well as myself. I think it's also cool seeing the women's side, how strong of a team they are right now, and I think that's inspiring for us too, to try to kind of step up to their level and match that. The Olympics are special. I think as Americans, we've actually had a lot of success over the years, and recognizing that, I think we have the ability to go out there, perform, win medals. Obviously, that's the dream. Dream is to inspire the next generation. So I think we all want to be a part of that. Bormio itself, I love that mountain. Had success there. I've had failures there. Honestly, I think the way that I was skiing last year in the downhill and to go out and crash the way that I did has given me a good amount of hunger to try to earn my spot back and try to get back out there and compete on that track once more. Not once more, but, for this year. But again, I have to earn that spot. So, it's fun. It's it's exciting. I think we all want to be there. And I think we're just trying to create the best, strongest team that we can for the men's U.S. team.
Yeah, it's pretty cool having Ryan on our team, because obviously he's already done it. And, you look at a guy like Ryan and you think, if he can do it, then anybody could do it. It's been cool, trying to learn from his mindset. I'm joking, of course. I think that he does some things above average. I came back from last Olympics with the 4th place, and you realize how short with 2 4th places. Thank you, Ryan. You realize how short your career can be. If you're at the very top level, maybe I have 2 or 3 more opportunities to be able to represent my country at the world stage. So I'm definitely coming in with a lot of hunger, and I feel good knowing that I've done everything I possibly can to put myself in the best position possible. I think that a lot of us feel right now like we can compete with anyone on our best skiing, and I believe that to my core. And I think that's the excitement of an outdoor sport. Anything can happen, but we're controlling the controllables and going to try to represent our country as best we can.
I would love to represent the U.S. again at the next Olympics. I went to 2 Olympics. The last one I was on a pretty good track too, and then fractured my tibial plateau, and I just took a day off and skied through that, and I just tried everything I could to make that one, but it didn't happen. But yeah, I guess it made me hungry for this one, and it'd be that's been a big motivator for me this summer, and just kind of keeping me going. So I'd love to do it again.
For me personally, having a Winter Olympics in Italy with substantial amount of skiing culture there is something that inspires me. I think having an Olympic downhill in South Korea and an Olympic downhill in China. Of course, it's always amazing, but to have an Olympic downhill on a classic World Cup downhill track is something that seems pretty rare, and you'd be the man if you won that thing. So I think going there and putting runs down, I think we've all had some success at Bormio, like Ryan said, and some failures. So if you were able to just for me personally, bringing experience from the first two Olympics, and then having the opportunity to put it all together on race day at Bormio would be something special. A unique challenge, a mental challenge that I think the Olympics provide for you. You know, like, yeah, we're racing every single weekend, but with your country kind of behind you, and it allows you to get into a different mental space, something that you might not be able to gain access to every single weekend. And that's what the Olympics are for me, and I look forward to that opportunity.
Great. Any more questions? Okay.
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. Ryan, I just wanted to follow up on what you said about the women's team and you guys wanting to get to that level. What do you need to do, and what lessons can you take from the women, not just in the success, but the depth that they have right now?
Well, I'm basing this also like the last 4 years with, how strong Michaela has been, historic level of skiing. But also, last year world champs, Breezy, Cougs, Paula, just incredible performances by them. So, using that as inspiration at the level that's they're skiing, they've earned kind of those results based on the work that they put in. I think for us, it is about continuing to make more steps closer to the podium, closer to contending every single race that we go out there. And obviously, it takes work to do that. And I think we are all focused, and we work, as hard as we can every single day, trying to find that time and find that speed. I think in a way, I don't know, I think being a part of the U.S. ski team and the sport that we get, I think we recognize the opportunities that we have, and obviously we want to represent our country as well as we can. So, it's up to us too to figure out how to perform and how to get better even at 33 years old, trying to be the best skier that I can be and that we can all be.
I have this question for the veteran downhillers, I think 33, 34, 33 years old, and then Kyle over there, the young buck at 27 or whatever. So for the veterans, you three, what do you see as your legacy being as you kind of enter that later stage, and what do you want to pass on to the future speed skiers on the men's side?
I'm not that old. 33, come on. No, I definitely see my time in skiing. I can see the end. The end is closer than the beginning. I think being around Steve Nyman, he was an open book to me and helped me out as much as I wanted. He's still trying to help me out. But for someone like Kyle, I think just giving all that information that I've gained throughout my career and just being an open book and passing that down. So when he burdens the responsibility of being old, he can pass that down to the young guys, and we can continue a tradition of American downhill skiing in the U.S., and that path wasn't carved easy, and the boys worked hard to do that. So I hope I'm a little bit a part of that legacy.
I think it was really cool when Marco left us with the American Downhiller name and just, made merchandise and just that, it's not all about the merchandise, but what is cool. But I just think that we already kind of knew that we had this kind of cult of the downhillers, and if you needed to, you knew if once, if you made it a couple seasons on the team and you were terrified in the Kitzbühel start, and you maybe like went in the red room a couple times, you start to understand like why we do this and how it can be a little different than some of the other events. So we try to carry that on. The generations are changing. I think we were the tryhards for the guys before us, and now it's just getting a little more tryhard. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But like there was a day when we'd watch, like say Beat Voits or one of those guys, or Manny Osborne or Jan Hudek, walk out of the lodge and do one leg swing and then go podium the race. And maybe smell like beer. I don't know. But so I don't know. That was just like a totally different generation that we saw the tail end of, and then things have just ramped up, and sports science has gotten more and more and more. And so I think every sport's like that now. But so we're trying to have that little bit of the core of the AD, American Downhiller, and pass that on to these guys. And yeah.
Sorry, River, you're not quite a downhiller yet. I think in terms of legacy, I think I view it as two separate things individually. I mean, obviously results are one thing, but I think trying to leave my mark and just what's most impactful is being able to inspire the next generation, inspiring young kids to try to, work their way up to the U.S. Ski Team, wanting to go ski Kitzbühel, wanting to go ski Wengen, these types of classic tracks. And I think being part of that, obviously, for us, it's about performing in those stages and trying to compete against the rest of the best. And then I think, outside of that, my own legacy, I don't know what it's going to be, but I think we're all focused. We recognize our time is limited, and honestly, just trying to get the American Downhiller team to a level that competes every single weekend, so that we have fans back home cheering us on. And to do that, I mean, it's up to us to pass on our knowledge to skiers like Kyle. And I mean, this kid has so much potential. He crushes us in training every single day, and it's pretty painful at times. So it's only a matter of time, I think. But we're just, passing on our knowledge and our love for the sport, our love for this crazy world we live in. And hopefully, through time, he's the top guy, and we're all out swinging golf clubs or something. I know Goldie's dreaming of it.
I mean, I think to wrap it up, historically, men's downhill has been sort of the hallmark of the U.S. Ski Team. You had all these generations. Like, I grew up watching Bodie and Darren and these guys. Then you had Marco, Steven. Now you have, Ryan, Jared, Bryce, all these guys with World Cup podiums. And I think it's a big legacy to live up to. And sort of that, for a lot of kids, at least in my generation, that was why people started ski racing. You watch the guys go down Kitzbühel, go down Bormio, and you're like, wow, that's badass. I want to do that. And so I think looking at it right now, we have sort of two generations on our speed team. We have these veterans, if you want to call it, with Goldie, Bryce, and Ryan. And then myself, Eric, and Sam are all maybe 5 years younger. And so we sort of have this split where, we're aware that there's this gap, and we're trying to learn and take in as much as we can from these guys, and take in as much as we can from what these guys have learned from the previous generation, sort of carry that legacy forward. I think it's a big shoes to fill, I think, with the history of men's speed in the U.S., but we have to, try to keep that going, and I think that's really driving all of us.
You got time for some more? I had a couple of questions, but Jared, you made me think of one, and that was it's Steve Perino, NBC over here. But there was long been a tradition on the speed side where whoever was the fastest won. There was the flame shirt. There were these various things. I'm wondering if any of those traditions still exist, and what that means to you guys along the lines of being this now branded American Downhiller team.
Yeah. Bryce reminded me of something that Jono used to do, and he would kind of because Jono grew up playing soccer and doing all the sports and played hockey, and he still plays hockey with with 2 fake knees and 2 fake hips or whatever. I don't know exactly the number of them or how many times they've been replaced. But but yeah, he would pass out animals at the end of a race, with a turtle if you're slow, and a dinosaur if you're fast, or whoever had the most grit, or there was there was one that was the Finding Nemo, if you're lost, you get that one. So I think those things are so fun, and I'll have to remind him to bring that back. I actually still have a turtle that Sam Morse had been hanging on to for years. So John was our coach 6 years ago, and then Sam Morse hung on to this turtle for 3 years, and then randomly out of the blue, he I don't know what was, if maybe he was fast, he was skiing well, and he just was like wondering who to give it to, and maybe I wasn't that fast at the moment. So he handed it to me, and he was like, I still have this, and I'm like, I need to pass it to somebody, and he beat me or something by a couple places. So I was like, okay, I like this actually. Like, let's bring this back. And I've been hanging on to it, and it's in my backpack, and I'm just waiting for the right day to hand it to him. So, and it's coming. But to touch on the we do have an American downhiller vest, and it's still in rotation, and it's running out of space in the inside, so we might need a new one soon. And that's something that Steve Nyman and Marco designed, and it was just like a denim short or cut off, and it's like so American, and we love it. And yeah, if you're top 5, if you've had a top 10, then you have to be top 5. You get to write your name in it, and then if you've had your first top 10, then you get to be in it. So it just kind of makes it more fun.
That was an awesome answer. And I think Ryan, I forget who touched on it, but it was this different feeling that Americans get at the Olympics. And I know that statistically it is true that Americans at the Olympics and World Championships are much likely to succeed than on the World Cup. And I've asked this 1,000 times over the last 20 years for someone to try to put a finger on it. And so I'm asking you guys to take a stab at it. And maybe, Ryan, you're a good place to start since you got that medal.
I think, like, statistically speaking, the Olympics and the World Champs are actually a little bit easier just based on quota spots from each nation. So instead of racing against, the best 8 Swiss skiers, you're only racing against the best 4. I think that does come into play, just making the depth a little bit less than what we have to do on the World Cup. And then I think, honestly, at least for us, and I mean my experience in 2022, I think having that underdog mentality as an American, not being favored, I feel like that plays into kind of how we get energized. We all believe in ourselves, and I think sometimes when you don't feel like the rest of the world sees it, you kind of want to go out there and prove it. And I mean, I think that's helpful when you're in that space. In a way, you have nothing to lose, and that's usually when you are able to showcase the best of yourself. So that's kind of my view. I think also, I mean, like, there are other athletes through the history. I mean, Lindsey Vonn, Ted Ligety, Bodie, Michaela, who have had success, and obviously they have a different light shined on them than we do. But I think we're very capable, very talented, and obviously going to go out there and do our best.
Great. Well, I want to go to our next generation of athletes here with their questions. So would one of you guys like to start us off with your question? All right. Can you say your name and direct it to whoever you'd like to answer it?
My name is Colin Crumman. I'm very delighted to meet you all. And my question is, what is the one thing that set you off, made you know that you're going to become a professional?
For me, it was I was probably like 12 years old, and I was just out skiing, and I finally found the outside ski, and it really just changed my life.
I still haven't found the outside ski.
Okay, do we have another question?
I'm Brooks Brownson, and Jared, what is a piece of advice that your coach gave to you that when you were a kid that you still remember and use today?
Give her the onion. I had a coach that would say, "Give her the onion." I have a real answer too, but that would be his radio, and everyone else would say, "Hey, like coming down here, you need to be on this part of the gate." But like he tried to make it fun, and he just he kind of brought you back to reality of like, this is fun. I'm skiing. Why do I need to be so serious? Do I really? When I get to gate 8.5, am I really gonna know? Oh, I need to be right here. There's a hole here, and I need to carry speed. Like, just send it and just go fast and ski as fast as you can around the gates. So that's my first answer. The other one, I had a coach actually that I was having trouble just calming myself down, and he told me just to breathe in the start. So, like, literally just breathe 5 times all the way out and all the way in, and it just relaxes you. So that was something I've been doing since I was a J4.
My name is Grace Blair, and my question is, what is your top speed?
Bryce?
99.8. Yeah, bank it. I was close to 100.
His answer goes up every time, but it was actually me. I was faster.
My name is Anthony LaBelle, and how do you stay relaxed before your race?
Like Bryce said, I think breathing is super important. If you start feeling flustered, just taking deep breaths. I like to do this technique called box breathing, where it's like 6 seconds in, hold for 6 seconds, down, exhale for 6 seconds. So that's how I tend to stay relaxed in the start. But honestly, I like to get pumped up, so I try to listen to as loud of music as I can.
You should experiment with a bunch of different things and then see what works for you.
My name is Thomas Blair, and what's the snow surface like?
We actually were out on the hill today and we were allowed to do a couple free ski runs down the race hill. And so we trained on it probably a week ago, and it was sort of classic copper, the same thing you guys ski on all the time, where it's super nice feeling, right? It's really smooth and your skis hook up really easy. And then they opened it all up 5-6 days ago, put a ton of water into it, and it got really hot. And so we all, I think, were a bit surprised actually today. We went out there and it was a little bit bumpy, a little bit firmer, and felt like more of a real World Cup surface. And so I think it'll be, more intense than people maybe expect it to be tomorrow, and it'll be a good challenge.
My name is Avery, and my question is, what do you tell yourself when you're nervous or afraid?
Usually when I'm nervous, it's because I don't think that I'm ready. And so the things that I try to do is I try to make sure that I work as hard as I possibly can every day leading up to a race, so that when I stand at that starting gate, whether I win or not, I know that I'm more prepared than anybody. When I do feel that, then I feel a lot more confidence. And then I also like to try to think about something I'm grateful for. Grateful for the opportunity to be able to race and to get to showcase my ability, and if I start from a place of gratitude as opposed to a place of nerves or pressure, I feel like I'm able to be more confident in the way I ski.
My name's Denali Fisher, and where is your favorite place to practice?
Right here in Copper, Colorado. I like to practice off-piste, actually, and hit cliffs and powder ski. So I think that's some of the best practice you can do for ski racing.
Well, I want to wrap it up with one question
That's Snowbird.
for you guys. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so I'd love to know everyone's favorite Thanksgiving dish. Start with Bridger.
Pumpkin pie.
Turkey, obviously.
Cranberry sauce.
Stuffing.
Top of the podium.
I'm with Goldie, top of the podium.
All right, well, that's going to be it for our press conference. Thanks for joining everyone, and we'll wish these guys luck tomorrow and the next few days.
Thank you.